Hey, what's up, guys? It's Stormy here, back with the Superverse Podcast today. I'm joined again together with Landon today. We're going to record a fun podcast again. Landon, how have you been this week?
Oh, another crazy week, man. Another one of the rearview mirrors. Certainly ready to chat with you and talk about some nerdy stuff. So let's hop right in.
It's definitely been a crazy week for me too. But hey, I've watched Shang-Chi yesterday again on Disney Plus with the IMAX enhanced thing, and that was definitely a cool experience for me. Definitely one of my highlights this week. Had a lot of downsides this week also, but I'm not going to talk about that. But Landon, first of all, to start like this conversation, yesterday was Disney Plus Day. What are your opinions on the event in general?
Overall, I felt like it was pretty bare bones.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like every Disney property or brand that provided something was very like minimalistic, very small. It seemed like the hype outweighed what was actually provided to us. So to some degrees, kind of lackluster. Just felt like we already knew a lot of this information that was shared. There were some highlights, there were some new fun things that were brought to our attention, but a lot of this was stuff that we had already been aware of. So it would have been cool to see more of what had already been announced, or even maybe more new stuff coming, future stuff like that, compared to just kind of the slate where about 80% of it was something we were already
Yeah,
aware that was
true.
coming.
And it could have been so much better if they actually showed us like more footage. Um, I mean, at like Marvel's end, it was okay in my opinion. Like Marvel gave us a couple of new things, gave us a little more confirmation of things that were happening. We got like this little sizzle reel about like Moon Knight and She Hulk and Miss Marvel on Disney Plus. Um,
Mm-hmm.
as of the other things, like I don't know that Pixar sizzle reel was only like 5 minutes long. They didn't do anything in that. I don't know what the fuck was going on with Star Wars that day. I think they just forgot about it. They forgot about Disney
Now, what
Plus
I
Day.
think Star Wars, I think, was in a tough position because I think Lucasfilm had some leaks come out about what they were going to show, and some of that stuff hit social media Wednesday, Thursday evening, and I think that caused Disney to just pull all of the Star Wars stuff out because they didn't want. I guess they didn't want to like corroborate the leaks or confirm them or deny them or whatever it was. They just
Mm-hmm.
didn't really want to show anything, I guess. I mean, that's my interpretation of it. Basically, like they overreacted because they got like information got leaked, teasers got leaked, trailers got leaked, stuff like that, and their reaction was to pull it all as opposed to still share it with the fans in the format it was supposed to be shown in. So like kind of hurts more of the fans than it does anybody else, right? Us
True.
nerds probably already saw it. Everyone who's on potential spoiler Twitter pages and things like that has probably already seen the teaser and all the other trailers and all the other stuff we were going to get for Star Wars. So the fact that we like didn't get any of it, and then also only saw like two little pictures of like Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Bad Batch 2, it's or season 2, it's like something had to happen behind the scenes in between Wednesday or Thursday, and Friday for Lucasfilm to just not be a part of this at all. Um, and maybe to your point, before we started recording here, maybe that has something to do with a future announcement coming from Lucasfilm themselves or from Disney at an investor day or something along those lines. Or maybe they're holding it to be a specific release timing based on other properties that are coming out. I mean, I don't know. There could be a lot of reasons.
I mean, we
It
know.
just it seems really odd that that happened when they were hyping it across all of their platforms for Star Wars specifically for Disney Plus Day, and we got nothing.
The only way how I can see them redeeming themselves at this moment is like if they actually release things at D23. Like, I mean, I know it's not really a D23 next week, but it's like a brought to you by D23. It's like holding like Anaheim and like Disneyland. So maybe some things come out there, but like yeah, I don't know. But we are going to talk about some of the Marvel things right now. Um, I gotta ask you of like all the sizzle reel that we got on Disney Plus. Like first of all, um, I think it should have been just like put like a trailer on like YouTube or something. I don't know why they needed to do it through Disney Plus. It only made things more inconvenient for some people.
Mm-hmm.
But from the things that we saw, like this is a real, We got some parts about Moon Knight, some parts from She-Hulk, some parts from Miss Marvel, and then we got like the first picture of what Nick Fury will look like. In my
In Secret
opinion,
Invasion, yeah,
yeah,
that
in
looks
Secret
awesome.
Invasion, he looks rad, by the way, in that picture. Like I really love this look in there. I mean,
Oh yeah.
patchless Nick Fury. I mean that will be dope. I also have a little theory about that, but I'm going to tell that when we start talking about it. Out of those three, I think I'm definitely the most hyped about Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight had like the best representation out of those three. It was like the longest part. It showed us a little more than the others. What was your favorite out of those four things?
Honestly, I can't really say I had a favorite. I enjoyed all of them kind of equally. She-Hulk is going to be interesting. I am very excited to see how she connects some of the more city-based, global-based MCU. Um, and then Moon Knight's going to be amazing. I mean, like you already get like Batman vibes from just kind of the little sizzle we saw. And Oscar Isaac is going to just crush that role. So he's certainly up there. Yeah, I wouldn't say that any of this kind of made me more excited or less excited for anything, or it changed any of my hype level. It just really gave me a better idea of what to expect from the show itself. Like you can see that Moon Knight's going to be very raw show. There's going to be a lot of violence. It's going to be very, very mental health struggle forward. You're going to really see kind of the character breaking apart and kind of who that character is, his origin, and how he becomes Moon Knight. And then She-Hulk, I think, is going to really, like I said, it's going to connect a lot of the city-based, global-based MCU, and I think that's a good thing. And I think there's a larger story to be told around She-Hulk, and I'm intrigued because we see Bruce Banner, or
Yep.
looks like Bruce Banner inside of the sizzle. To me, it did. So yeah, I was like, man, this is going to be great. Like Mark Ruffalo is um, Hulk and Bruce Banner, and then Tatiana Maslany is Jennifer Walters. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I definitely see why they didn't release her full look yet. There were definitely you saw from like the little part that we got like that her CGI wasn't finished yet, which I get because like I have a feeling like a lot of money has been thrown at this show, to get like the
I
Hulk's rights.
So, question for you about She-Hulk specifically, Stormy.
Yeah.
Now that we've seen some more of the slate of Disney Plus shows, and we kind of already know what's taking place with like Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we're about to see Hawkeye here soon. What do you think She-Hulk could potentially start connecting to, right? Because like, do you think it's going to connect more to a movie? Do you think it's going to be more of like you're going to start seeing kind of well known from the comic kind of heroes or aliases show up in this film? We might not see them as their hero selves, but as their alias self. Where do you think this is leading? Because I think this opens the door for a lot of like city level
Mm-hmm.
villains, heroes, a lot of the stuff that might have already been touched on in previous shows or other things like Netflix series or ABC shows or whatever it might have been, that kind of start connecting those dots for us as we grow into this global story that we're working on the Earth side. So I guess I'm just curious as to where you think it could connect because I'm seeing a lot of potential here. Like she could connect into the Defenders or Heroes
Mm-hmm.
for Hire. Kingpin's an opportunity here. There's a lot of I'd say IP that kind of comes along with She-Hulk.
So with She-Hulk, I think look, She-Hulk is going to be the show. She-Hulk, I think, is going to be more standalone. I think there won't be like too much connective tissues. Beside like maybe Matt Murdock showing up as Daredevil, and of course Hulk showing up. Um, I wanna like put something out to you real quick. We have been talking about like the last couple of years that Marvel is like is seemingly going on to like ground level Avenger stuff and like cosmic level and multiversal level stuff. Now
Mhm.
I wanna put this up to you. Like, do you think ground based can still be split up in two parts that you can have street level and like just like planet level? Because it seems that She-Hulk, the character of She-Hulk, is going to be a character that will walk that line between those two. She can do things on the street while also be in like the big Avengers missions.
Mhm.
My one thing in the comics always has been that it's weird that in a crossover event like Secret Wars or it's just like a big crossover thing where high stakes are at, that you can have like Daredevil or Iron Fist show up. Those are like not really the characters that I can see like in the MCU doing much in those type of things. You know, I can see like Daredevil coming into the final battle of Avengers Endgame and doing a lot. You know, so I think She-Hulk will be pretty standalone, but I think she the only movie right now that I see her connect to is that will be No Way Home with like Matt Murdock. I'm pretty sure that Daredevil is going to show up in this series. It can't be otherwise. There's just too much evidence. But yeah, no, I think this show will be pretty standalone towards like other things that we are getting next year.
Okay. Nice.
I wanna ask you something. That first look at, and we talked about it like a little bit just yet. That first look that we got from Moon Knight. I don't know, but from that little footage that we got, Oscar Isaac like overwhelmed me. I think like the way he portrays Mark Spector, I think we will be mind blown by that series, and especially like that one little scene at the end of the sizzle reel where he like suddenly like wakes up from a trance where he was like getting Mark Spector back in him while he was like punching people down as Moon Knight, like his alter ego, and where he was waking up again as Mark Spector, and suddenly he doesn't know what he was doing. So I think that little shot was like clear, like Mark Spector, Moon Knight from the comics. I don't know what was your opinion on that, because like I know you are a little bit into the comics, but I don't know if you know Mark Spector, aka Moon Knight, that well.
So since this was announced last year around
2 years
this time,
ago.
I did a little bit of research, or yeah, a couple years ago. I did a little bit of research into Moon Knight, and he's very similar to like Batman, but he leans a little bit more into like the mental
Yep.
like instability and mental health and things like that. He really leans into like multiple personalities. So I think this show's gonna be awesome. It looks very violent, very raw. There's gonna be a lot of fighting. I think it's gonna set up a lot of the supernatural aspects of the MCU as we move forward. Not that we're not gonna get enough of that with like, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and Spider-Man No Way Home, and some of the other supernatural stuff that might be happening. But I think we're going to get a lot of it through Moon Knight, or some of the kind of the foundation for the ideas and the premises of things are going to be kind of the seeds are going to be sown here through this series, and I think that that's going to be a very interesting opportunity for not only Oscar Isaac to really jump into this role as Moon Knight, but also for the MCU to build kind of the darker side of the Marvel universe.
It seems Oscar Isaac is like that actor that's like really redeeming himself right now. He of course had like a couple of like little like roles that were not so great according to many people. Apocalypse, Poe Dameron, and in Star Wars. But it seems like with his role in Dune lately, and like now him playing Mark Spector, is really redeeming that guy. Um, we talked last week about Miss Marvel, you know. The MCU changing her powers up to the comics. Her powers will be different. We got confirmation of that in this like little snippet. We didn't see a lot of it. Basically, the only thing that we saw about her having a new power was when she was walking through the air, where we could see her in the mirror in that shot. I don't know if you noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually a power of hers that we didn't really know of yet. Like we just thought like that she would be able to like put like constructs on her hand, but basically she can just like walk through the air with like little
Cosmic energy.
Yeah.
Steps, I guess. Like, I don't really know what you call them.
If you're okay with it, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Stormy. I know where you're going with this. I'm a fan of Inhumans, right? In general, like from the comics, from like the lore, Inhumans. Some of my favorite characters are Inhumans. So I really struggle with kind of the premise that they're going to change Miss Marvel's kind of backstory, and it's very apparent through the teaser that she, at least from what we're seeing, her power set has changed, which we knew, and they're not going to make her origin as an Inhuman unless they're changing the whole story of what it means to be an Inhuman, how you become an Inhuman, and and like what your power sets are when you're an Inhuman. I'm concerned that Disney hates the Inhumans, that
Yep.
they're scarred from the really bad shows that happened in the past and the bad character development and people that they chose to bring into act, and it was a mess. It was a mess and a half.
Yep.
And I'm very very concerned that this show is going to flop because of Marvel's inability to trust the fan base to distinguish between the garbage that was the Inhuman show and Marvel at the MCU introducing Inhuman characters.
And it's weird,
Ms. Marvel needs to be
True.
a foundational show for them to bring in these characters. If they're not going to do that, this show is going to get so much hate. It is going to get immediately like probably review bombed once the series
Yep.
comes out. And then on top of that, like the hardcore fans are going to watch it. But we're going to voice our strong opinion of how much we hate what you did to this character if what we're seeing is going to follow through into the story the way we think it's going to, right? There's been leaks, there's been discussions, we have an idea or a synopsis of what that season looks like. It can get bad, and it might get bad. This is where Marvel can start to fall apart. If they start to make too many creative changes from the comics, they're going to ruin these characters for people that fell in love with them as their comic book self. So, I don't care what Marvel wants to do. They're going to get a lot of backlash, especially around Miss Marvel and the Marvels the movie, because you already confirmed that Miss Marvel's going to be a part of this.
Yep.
So you're setting yourself up for
Failure.
double failure.
Yep.
At this point. Not only failure on a Disney Plus series, but then also failure from a standpoint of a future movie. Captain Marvel itself already got a lot of hate. Already got a lot of the social justice, as people like to call it sometimes. But I don't think it deserved any of the hate. I don't realize. I understand the movie wasn't great. I didn't love it, but it wasn't as bad as people made it seem. And yes,
It's
it
just
was
weird,
tough.
It's just weird,
Yeah.
because here's the thing. While the Inhumans show was very bad, and I completely understand Marvel being hesitant to use the Inhumans again, but here's the thing. People, my favorite thing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were the Inhumans. Many people's favorite thing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No.
were the Inhumans, We got this thing, we got to know this thing yesterday, that there was something going on with Eternals that they wanted to shoot in Hawaii. And that Marvel basically wasn't allowed to shoot there because of what happened there with Inhumans. So I don't know what happened with that series. What was going on? But yeah, it's just sad that seemingly Marvel Studios is like we know for a long time that the Inhumans aren't Kevin Feige's favorite characters. Like he had literally no plans to bring them ever in whatsoever, because like it was basically a move done by like Ike Perlmutter to like rival Fox with their mutants, but then like the Fox deal happened, and then they got the mutants back, and then they just scrapped that plan, standed it to like the TV side of Marvel back in the day. So here's the thing that I have with it. Many people love the Inhumans. The Inhumans have such a cool dynamic. Their royal family are some of the coolest like Marvel characters there are, in my opinion. Their power are like unique. There aren't like characters that have the same powers. I'm just going to give a couple of like going to give you a couple. Like there's no other character like Black Bolt. There's no other character like has powers like Medusa. There's no other character who has powers like Crystal. You have a freaking big giant dog who can teleport. I know there are teleporting characters, but Lockjaw is like another character like Groot or Baby Yoda that you can market the hell out of, selling toys to kids, to children. He has a chance to be a fan favorite character. So it's just sad, and if they, we are just going to have to wait. I said this last week also. We are going to have to wait and see with Miss Marvel. If Miss Marvel is still an Inhuman in the MCU, and they just changed her powers to work better in the MCU to make her different from Mr. Fantastic, I'll be all in for it. That I'm just going to say, alright, I love what they were doing with her in the comics, but it's okay. Like, I can live with this. But if they completely cut out the Inhumans of her story, and they never bring in the royal family again. Look. Here's the thing. Sorry that I'm going on with a tangent. In my opinion, they don't have to make the Inhumans a big deal in the MCU. They can just bring in the Inhumans. They can just bring in the royal family, and that's it.
They need to exist.
They need to exist.
They have to exist. You can't change a character's base origin. And if you're going to do that, you're going to get a lot of backlash anyways, right? And you've seen some of the small origin changes the MCU's made in the past, but we have to keep these characters as their known entity or trait within the comics. You can't not make her an Inhuman. I don't care what you do from her power standpoint, but she has to be labeled an Inhuman. Otherwise, a lot of people are going to be frustrated and not understand what she's even supposed to be.
Yep, because you're just making her a Carol Danvers ripoff right now, you know?
Well, not even that. How does she get her powers? It's not from an Infinity Stone. What is her origin? Show us her origin.
Here's the only.
And this is something that, like, yeah, we don't know the Spider-Man origin, but okay, how many people really know the Spider-Man origin story? We don't have it in the MCU. Do we need it in the MCU? It'd be cool to see. We don't have to have it. For a character like Ms. Marvel to work, to set up other city level, global level characters, and to have her already be a part of another property, right? The Marvels, you have to do this character right. Otherwise, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. There isn't an if and or but about it. You will fail if you can't do this character right, and that begins with her being an Inhuman. I don't have to see the terror. I don't have to see this stuff. Just you have to tell us or hint at the fact she is an Inhuman, because once you introduce mutants, nobody's gonna care. Yep. No one's gonna care what anyone else is called until you introduce the mutants. But the mutants are coming. They're coming at some point. And if we're going to establish these characters as who they are from the comics, and we're going to hold to our comic base the best we can, which MCU has proven to do more often than not, she needs to remain Inhuman.
Indeed.
I can't say any more than that. And it's going to be very disappointing to watch this whole series and have it not ever be said. And then I'm probably going to be very frustrated on a podcast after this series comes out about why did they even make the series and what was the purpose of the series and what story are you building on top of, because nobody cares enough about the character that you just completely changed everything about from the comics. You can make small tweaks. You cannot change an entire character's origin base. The whole foundation of that character is now flawed, and people believe two different things: what was written in the comics and what was shown in the MCU. And unfortunately, the MCU wins out in most cases and in most arguments. But if you read the comics, then you know that they're destroying some of these characters and the potential for some of these properties. So there has to be that fine line, and they've walked it very well up to this point. Just I have a real concern at the moment about specifically Ms. Marvel.
I have a little theory on it, and I have a little. This theory is maybe going to give you like a shiver of hope. That still has to do with the Inhumans. So in the comics, the Inhumans were created by the Krees. The Krees came to Earth. They saw the Celestials do experiments on humans, creating the Eternals and the Deviants. So the Kree are also interested in trying their own experiments. They come to Earth and they basically modifyingly enhance some people, and they become the Inhumans. Now here's the only shiver of hope that I have watching this trailer. When you see that one shot in the trailer where she gets blasted with that cosmic energy, you saw that, you know?
Yep.
It only covers her. It doesn't attach to the other people in that room. So what if they are going to change up with Terrigen Mist actually coming from Earth? It's based from something the Krees made from cosmic energy, and that the Inhumans never existed then in the MCU. But Ms. Marvel will be like one of the first Inhumans because some people have a gene in them that has them able to turn into Inhumans. If they do that, it will be different from the comics, but it will be a version of the Inhumans.
Yeah.
That's just a little theory that I have. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a lot coming. Yeah.
I just hope that.
I'm on board. I'm on board. Right there with you, man. Like, explain it to us. Make it make sense. make it work for the MCU. Don't change her too much, because the reason I love her is because of the comics.
Mm-hmm.
She's easily one of my favorite comic book stories to read, to actually enjoy. So it's going to tear my heart apart to watch this character get the love she deserves in the MCU. Hopefully, but if she's not done right, I'm gonna struggle.
Yeah, I can't say otherwise. I'm just going to hate the show. But like,
Yeah.
going on to another thing, we saw that first look at Nick Fury, how he's going to look like in Secret Invasion, and I said it just yet. I think that look looks absolutely perfect. It's different from whatever we saw from Nick Fury in the MCU, but it just looks so good for like. It seems that it seems like from that little shot that we got that he's paranoid. Because that's the whole thing behind Secret Invasion, you know? The paranoia that it brings to people. Not being able to trust anyone. And you see that he has like he has like a look of them that he's basically like little paranoid, it seems. And Patchless Nick Fury, I don't know, man. I gotta say I love that like little scene.
Yeah. Secret Invasion is going to be quite the event within the MCU, quite the experience to see kind of all these heroes that we could have potentially been introduced up to this point by the time the series comes out, and who we all know and who becomes a Skrull, or who we now learn to be a Skrull. I think there's a lot more than what we think, and this series is going to flesh it out. So. Emilia Clarke is going to be a part of this. I'm very excited about her performance and who she portrays. And I believe Ben Mendelsohn is coming back as Talos. Yep. Talos. So I would expect nothing but pure cinema from Secret Invasion as a series, because of not only the people they have involved, but also just the premise of it itself. It's going to be very like mystery thriller, like high intensity, like it's going to get your heart beating. I'm sure of it.
Yep. For also what we got to learn on Disney Plus, it seems that Marvel is like doubling down on animation. We got to know much about like the animated things that they are working on. They are working on What If Season 2, we already know that. They are basing a spin-off on the entire Marvel Zombies thing, and we actually since then got to know that this won't be a continuation of what's happening in What If, but this will be taking place in its own reality. So it's probably going to be a version of the comic events that happened a couple of years ago, made by the brilliant Robert Kirkman, the creator from The Walking Dead and Invincible. The two big ones that we got were the Spider-Man Freshman Year animated series that we are supposedly getting, and the revival of in my opinion, the best superhero animated show of all time, X-Men in the 90's X-Men, and this show will get revived as X-Men 97. So I want to start with Spider-Man Freshman Year. Am I the only one not hyped for this? It just seems that this is just Marvel Studios like saying, "Hey, guys, here's Uncle Ben dying again. You're going to see it again."
That's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like,
right?
Yeah. So, look,
but we don't know that that's what we're going to get, right? Like, here's the thing. Right now we have 3 Spider-Man movies, and this is the freshman year. So we know, like, his sophomore year was Homecoming, his junior year is Far From Home, his senior year is No Way Home. So, right, we're getting the full 4 years of high school from Peter Parker. Nothing says that Uncle Ben's story has to be in this animated series. What I think it is that I think Disney realizes the popularity of Spider-Man and how successful that their Spectacular Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, and some of the other Spider-Man Ultimates or Marvel Ultimates show that they've done in the past on like Disney XD or some of the other like really random Disney shows.
Yeah.
Or and like I guess networks that they run, but you know this is going to be I think a little bit more of context for when we meet Peter Parker in the MCU. I think it's going to bring us to that point and show some of his early adventures before Tony Stark. Yep. So I like this personally, but that's because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and I think that just having more base for the character, a character that is portrayed in live action and now being portrayed in animation, is going to be a lot of fun. I hope that Tom Holland is able to voice. I hope that Marissa Tomei is able to voice. I hope that they're able to get all the right people for this. And if they do have to change it up, change the whole thing. I don't want like 6 people from the live action cast and like the rest of them just fill-ins. Like change the whole cast if you're gonna change the cast. Do the
Yep.
whole thing. I'm very excited to see what it turns out to be. I loved the animated Spider-Man film, or not film, the series back in the 90's. It's like what got me into comic books and Spider-Man specifically, like when I was very, very young. And then X-Men. Oh my gosh, I
Oh
think this is the best thing
man,
that's ever happened. I
dude.
I think this is like the cream of the crop. I still watch the old X-Men
Yeah, me
animated
too.
series on Disney Plus because it's that good, and we don't have any new X-Men content that's really worthy of us watching. I mean, you can watch the live action movies, but realistically, those are all trash from
Here's
the
the
box. So you want to watch the animated series because it doesn't only give you the best characters, it gives you the best team, right? Team ups because they have not only the uncanny in there, they also have the astonishing X-Men in
yep,
there, and then you get the team ups between the two. So like you get Kitty Pryde, you get
yep.
Rogue, you get Gambit, you get Beast, you get Jubilee, you get Phoenix, you get all the fun stuff,
And
including
here's the chance
Wolverine
that
and
they have with
Storm.
that show, Uh, that show they have like this whole lineup, and there are a couple of like really cool important X-Men missing from the entire show, but
Hmm.
all the X-Men characters appeared in that show already, so they are in
Correct.
that
At one point,
universe.
yes.
We got
Yeah.
episodes with Colossus, we got episodes with Nightcrawler, with Banshee, with Angel, Archangel,
Oh
so they
yeah.
can bring them in. So if this revival, well, maybe they are doing like, hey, because like that show ended like a little lackluster in my opinion. They just
Yes.
like made this last season with like 6 episodes, so maybe they're bringing it back with like one final season, one final end off. But man, that
I don't
show,
think they'd go with a whole series focused on X-Men 97 to just bring in one final season. What I think they want to do is they want to pick up the story and let it bleed into the MCU live
you
action.
think so?
That would
you
I think
you
that they're that
Oh,
Kevin Feige wants to take this opportunity, and I'm not saying that it's going to be a one-for-one connection from what's happening in the show and what's going to happen in the MCU. I just think that this is going to set the stage for the introduction of the X-Men. I think it's going to be a part there could be things shown in this animated series that are tested in live action to see if the introduction method works, to see if
oh,
this story works and this plot point makes sense, right? I
I
think
have an
that is
actual
where he's
theory.
going with this. I think a lot of this a lot of the animated stuff from Marvel is trying to set up future properties, and they know that they can't do everything in live action. One, because of budget. Two, because of
Uh-huh.
VFX, and three, because of actors and timing and just demand overall, right? So it's a very interesting way to provide us a great story that can connect to everything else as we build through the MCU from the back. And this is what I like about Marvel and kind of how they twist things on their head sometimes, where we think we're always working forward from a certain point, right? Iron Man began the MCU in 2008, and we've worked forward to 2024 ever since then. But then we start getting like callbacks with Captain Marvel and
Yep.
callbacks with other movies and series and things like that. So I love that Marvel's testing the waters in like the 90's, 80's, 90's type vibe because one, it's such a playful like animation style from the X-Men in that time period, and these shows were more fun back then. They weren't such serious
Yep.
plot-based stories that everything was like everything connects, it all has to work, it all has to make sense. It was like you could give a random call out in the middle of an episode to somebody and then you never have to show them, you never have to see them in the series, which is the coolest part to me because it's just like it's just for fun. We're just saying the name because that's the name you would say if you were in that universe,
Landon,
right? Like they don't have to make an appearance all of a sudden. So
hear me out with this
love
one.
it.
Hear me out with this one. We got to know, and I usually don't want to go into the real leaks that have been coming out. The leaks that you know of, these are real, But there's one leak of a supposed character appearing in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I'm not going to tell which character it is, but I know if you think X-Men, a lot of people watching right now will know about which character that I'm talking about. That character had the same look as his counterpart in the animated series. So what if the universe where Doctor Strange will be traveling to, where supposedly the Illuminati will happen in the MCU, will be the same universe this animated series takes place in, and that after Doctor Strange, because my big theory has always been something after Doctor Strange will happen. I think Doctor Strange, and then it will go on into Quantumania. I think Quantumania has a lot of things about multiverse also in it. And I think after Quantumania, they will go into like a crossover event. It will be a Secret Wars or something. Maybe we get an Avengers Secret Wars. And after Secret Wars, all these universes get combined. And we will get a big crossover universe. A big crossover universe where all these universes have been combined in some kind of a patch world, and that will be the lead in for those actual X-Men from those universes to come into our beloved MCU universe to play those characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because it will be difficult right now to explain that mutants have always existed in this universe. So I think it would be better if you bring in
kind of.
I know, like you can do it, but I think it will be very difficult. So I can see Marvel Studios taking like the easy way, doing them multiversal, having them come in through the multiverse. But it's just like the evidence is just there. Like he looks the same as he did in the animated series. Again,
right.
I'm not saying which character.
I'm on board, man. That's a great theory. I hope it happens. I'd love to see Patchworld. I'd love to see Secret Wars, and I'd love to see kind of a Battle World, Patchworld type scenario. And I'd love to see the mutants a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the properties that you're looking that we know about that could be leading us in that direction is the Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
True.
Loki getting a season 2 tells me that there's way more to discover about the multiverse itself. And I think that they're going to use the multiverse definitely to bring in some of these characters, and I hope that they're able to get some of the nostalgia that people have for these characters from the comic books, like their comic classic outfits, or the X-Men classic outfits, things like that, because that is just like if you do those right the first time, they work. But you can see what happens with Fox if they don't do it right the first time, to have to continuously redo them every time they're introduced, and then it just becomes a mess. So I'm all for that, Stormy. I really hope that happens. It would be a lot of fun.
The thing with the X-Men costumes is just like they are so colorful and so unique that you just have to do that right. And like here's the thing that I'm going to end off this thing about X-Men. If the X-Men come into the MCU and we get that first X-Men movie live action, like we need that we need that over the Marvel Studios logo, We need like that's like the most iconic superhero intro that we have ever gotten in like animated type of formats. So yeah, this is like really one of my most looked forward to things right now out of Phase 4, Phase 5, whatever they are doing at Marvel Studios at the moment. Getting back to live action at the moment, we got to know about 2 new spin-off series that they are working on for Disney Plus. Live action, it is. They're working on Echo. We got confirmation of that. We got to know about that a couple of months ago. Charles Murphy actually was the one who brought that out there. So they confirmed that. And Echo will first appear in Hawkeye, as we know. And the other show that they are working on is Agatha. Oh my god, my dyslexia. Agatha Harkness. I have to make a meme about this on the channel, my dyslexia. They are working on Agatha Harkness series. Agatha House of Harkness, they called it. Echo is one I'm very hyped for, because we got to know some things that this will be some kind of a Echo / season 4 of Daredevil combined in disguise. As of Agatha Harkness, the series, I don't know how I have to feel about it. Look, I know that Agatha is a fan favorite character in the MCU right now, and Catherine Hahn played that role very good and very great. I just don't know how to feel about her getting a standalone series. What about you?
So I think it's going to be a couple things. Agatha plays a larger part and role in some of the Avengers comics.
That's true.
She kind of becomes this neutral entity within the comics, where she kind of plays both sides, and she's highly connected to like House of M, like, and Wanda and Vision and West Coast Avengers, things like that. So if this series is going to go anywhere, I could certainly see it bringing in more of the supernatural. Obviously, I could see us giving a little bit more understanding as to who Agatha is and what the House of Harkness really means.
Yep.
Right, more origin for a character we got a little bit of in WandaVision, and I think that she's gonna find a way out of the hex or out of her little curse, and it'll become kind of like I'm getting Blade vibes for some reason from her, from like the tone. Just it's going to be a dark show. There's going to be a lot of kind of violence. There's going to be like kind of a history lesson involved with it. We're going to learn a lot about her, witchcraft, the supernatural, all the stuff that's been going on since the Salem witch trials, as we saw depicted in WandaVision. I'm all on board for Agatha, right? It's Catherine Hahn's going to crush it. She clearly did already. The one that's got me puzzled right now is Echo. Okay, I'm sorry to say this. I know a lot of people are excited about this. I know you are too. Why? Why this show? Please tell me. Why this show? If you want Daredevil season 4, then just bring us freaking Daredevil, all right? Stop with this. Oh, I'm going to give you this no-name character to introduce these other 20 people that we don't want to drop a show for or tease for. So it's like, cool. Marvel, I get that you play behind the scenes and you're playing 5D chess against everybody in the world and all the spoilers and all the hackers and all the content creators that you share stuff with ahead of time that screw you over. Just stop. Like, stop. Because I'm to the point now where, like, Echo, I have zero interest.
I can counteract that. If you are hyped for Agatha, you have to be hyped for Echo, because I am damn sure.
Why? I've already seen Agatha.
But here's the thing.
No. That's my problem. Echo is based off of a series that doesn't exist in the MCU. Kevin Feige's been very clear that nothing from Netflix exists in the MCU. So let's just get that out of the way from the very beginning, because it doesn't exist here. So how can we get season 4 of Daredevil in Echo if Daredevil doesn't exist?
Well, here's the thing: it will be a soft reboot. But let me finish first. If you're high for Agatha, you have to be high for Echo, because I'm going to tell you why. Echo will be the Agatha Harkness of Hawkeye. She will be the big standout fan favorite character. I'm damn sure of that. Here's the thing with that character: she has so much connections to, as well as Wilson Fisk, Daredevil, the Defenders, the Heroes for Hire. She has connections to the Marvel Knights. She has connections to the Midnight Suns. Mm-hmm. Echo can be like the that one character in the middle that all these shows connect to, and all these movies connect to, in that supernatural side of things.
I agree with you, but hear my side of this quick. Why announce it now? We didn't get an Agatha House of Harkness announcement 2 months before we got WandaVision, did we? No. Agatha crushed it in WandaVision. Everyone loved her so much that we had to see more of her. So Disney had to go to Catherine Hahn and say, we want you more. We want you back. We want you to do a series. That is not what's happening with Echo. They are assuming that we are interested in continuing the story that existed on Netflix and bringing in some of the characters we've already seen. I'm not saying that they're wrong, but I'm just pointing out that I will be more excited for this announcement once I actually see the freaking character in a series in the MCU.
But I know, Landon, right? I get you. But here's the thing.
That is why my hype is zero.
I think Marvel Studios is very smart. I think they see what's going on with, like, the Twitter, the Reddit conversations right now. I think people are talking about Echo. People seemingly are interested in this series. Yeah. And here's the thing that will make it even better. Echo's entire backstory all has to do with Wilson Fisk, with Kingpin. And they are... Mm-hmm. Look, it can be that they are not bringing in Wilson Fisk in Hawkeye. He's coming back in there, for sure. The Tracksuit Mafia is in there. Echo is in there. Echo's father, who gets killed by Kingpin, is in there. There's no other way that they aren't bringing him back. So Marvel Studios knows damn sure enough, with all the Twitter conversations, Reddit conversations, forums online where people are talking about it, in their reactions on YouTube. Plus, Wilson Fisk being such a fan favorite character that they are now bringing into the larger MCU, there's no way that this show cannot work. It's the same with Agatha, you know?
I'm not saying it won't work or that it isn't going to be great. All I'm trying to say is, how about we start introducing characters that, you know, we want, we love, we hope to see more about, and not some random character from a Netflix show that was canceled over 5 years ago or however long it was when it last aired, and start being like, okay, you're gonna love it. Like, I get that she's going to show up in Hawkeye. I
But
get
Echo
she's
was
going to
never
be a
in there
larger
then.
part of this series. Well, I meant like the connections to the Netflix show and how she plays with those characters and all that other stuff. So it's more like, why on earth, right? Like, again, I would have the same reaction if we got the House of Harkness announcement last year before I watched WandaVision. I'm like, who cares about this character at this moment? Nobody has any connection other than the super niche comic book character that connects to 20 other characters through one of the most well-known lines. But is she the main character of that story? No, she's like number 19 out of the 20 people that are involved in the story.
True.
So why on earth would I get a show for that? But then, because of the interaction that you get in WandaVision, and because of how much she kills it and how manipulative she is and how dark and fun she was, she gets a show because the character worked.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to see them not kind of reverse engineer how this process works and start actually saying what works in Hawkeye that I can then develop into a show. Don't give me some third tier character called Echo and expect him to be like, oh my god, Daredevil season 4, Kingpin. Like, let me get to know her in Hawkeye first. Let me appreciate who she is and how you're building her story, and let me emotionally connect to that character before you're just like, oh, she's getting a series. Because this just ruins it. It's like, cool, now I know she's in the series. I've tried to stay away from spoilers for like everything for the last 3 months. So like now that I know that she's in the series, because you're saying that she's gonna be in Hawkeye because she's getting a series now. So like, cool, thank you.
I mean, we already knew
Thank you
she
for
was
this
in there.
spoiler.
She has been cast, you know.
I understand, but again, I'm not like researching plot lines or
true.
where these characters are. Like, I'll read a synopsis of the season and look at the cast for sure and be like, Echo, cool, excited to see how that character's portrayed. Or, you know, Kate Bishop, excited to see how that character's portrayed. Do I want a Kate Bishop Young Avenger announcement today before I can see her in Hawkeye? No, I don't. I don't want an Echo announcement before I get to see her appear in another property. You don't bring Shang-Chi after you just completely mock the Mandarin in the Ten Rings in Iron Man 3.
True.
There's a reason that those movies were so spread apart, and why one takes place in 2024 and one takes place in 2012 or 13 or whatever year it was. Right? Like, you just can't make a mockery of it and then all of a sudden come back and expect us to take it seriously. And I just don't want the same thing to happen in Hawkeye with Echo, for all of us to be like, oh, this Echo's supposed to be great, it's supposed to be so emotional, it's supposed to be so good, and then everybody hate her, and then all of us be like, crap, well, now there's a series coming. This is only going to get worse.
I guess we'll just I guess we will have to wait and see, and I guess I'm going to have the same conversation with you after Hawkeye finish and you actually love the character, because I'm damn sure you will.
I'm all for it. I hope I do. I don't want to hate any character that they introduce, right? There's some that they mean you to hate, and that hate is intentional because it's for the plot device and plot lines and things. But this is like, come on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you have a point. I get what you mean. But to me, it's just not a problem.
I agree. From somebody who lives and breathes this universe, us nerds, we're like, cool, like excited to see who you bring into this series and what it is. I'm just trying to look at it from both perspectives of like a normie who I interact with like all day, and most of the people that I talk to about these things, and then like the small percentage of people that I actually talk to that I know what they're talking about and understand why the character is important and how important it is. Everyone who saw this announcement yesterday that's a normie was like, why should I care about this character? I don't even know what that is. Sounds like it could be kind of loud. So again, show us, then give us more details on what's coming first, right? Like, there's no reason this had to be a part of this. Echo could have been announced in January, right? Or it could have been announced at the Disney Investor Day in December. Who cares when you announce it? Did it have to be announced? Is it coming out next year? I highly doubt that. They just announced the freaking property. So I don't think that it's going to make it in 2022. So I don't, again, it's like, I get it. I get you're excited. You probably have a lot going. You probably cast all the right people for it. But just tone down, Marvel. Tone down for a sec. Let us love the character you're trying to bring in for us.
To end off this talk about Disney Plus Day, and then we will go on to some other topics. I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but you know the Boys universe. You know the Boys, very very fun show. I'm going to interrupt the conversation really quick, but like we really want to talk about the Boys on this podcast, and we want to talk about like basically everything in the the sphere of like superheroes. There's just not many news about like the Boys, Umbrella Academy, Invincible right now. But when things like that will come out, we will definitely talk about it. But like one fun thing that came out of the Boys yesterday was like the Boys like VOD just like completely mocking Disney Plus Day with their entire VOD plus like commercial. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it? This is why I love The Boys, man. The Boys is just so, how do you have to say it? The Boys is just so, they just know so well how to keep people interested in their show, mocking on other properties while not going too much in depth that they will get in trouble for it. But it was like
surface
clear.
level.
It's they are so. They are so good at that. But like we're going to go into some other topics right now about Marvel.
So quickly, Stormy.
Go ahead.
Have you kept up with the 7-on-7 from the Boys universe? Because there's been this cool thing that they've been doing to this, kind of where this came from. This little clip. They do like these news segments. It's almost like we're like put into their universe where they're like talking to a hero or doing an interview or like a docu-series piece or something like that on like someone in particular. And it's just like this fun little like sizzler clip reel of like Homelander talking or like A-Train or something weird, but it's always it grasps your attention. It's like when we get little like trailers for Disney Plus series or for like movies and how much we freak out about that.
Yep.
But then we just get like these random YouTube clip drops from the Boys all the time, and nobody seems to talk about them. Nobody seems to bring them up or like be like, "Oh my gosh, these things are amazing." But I've watched every single one, I think it's this really interesting way of like building a universe around like this show and making it kind of year round as opposed to just talking about it when it's has new properties or new content.
I definitely agree with you on the sense that it's like it's a cool way to like have your fans interact with your property the entire year. But I just think the way why people aren't talking it that much is just the Boys is just not quite at that level yet. You know, the Boys is just not quite yet at that level where people can talk about it the year through. But here's something. There have been a couple of fun things coming out, like Jensen Ackles' first look of Soldier Boy a couple of months ago. We got the first look at Count Mistress or something. Her character's
Crimson Countess.
Crimson Countess, that's her. So we got our official look at that, and that gets some conversation going. But the Boys just isn't like at that level yet where we can like talk about it the entire year. Same with Umbrella Academy, same with Invincible. If these series go on for years, they will definitely reach that level, you know. But right now, it doesn't. Landon, I wanna. You know, at the end of Volume 2, Guardians of the Galaxy, you see that character of Sylvester Stallone, Stakar Orgard, rebuilding his old team that he had together with Yondu and. Starting that team back up again. It's been confirmed that Stallone will return as Stakar Orgard in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I really hope they bring in that new team, man. I really want to see them. I think they will be more like jokey characters. They will probably... half of them will probably die. But I just hope like that we get them. Because we got that tease, and then they never build on it seems.
I would love to see it. I think that the only way Stallone comes back is if there's something important or a larger role for him in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He wouldn't just come back to kind of be similar to how he was in Volume 2, in my opinion.
Yeah, true.
So there's going to be something interesting with this character for sure. I am excited to see what they do with it. If it's Ravager based, if it's Guardians based, whatever it might be, it's going to be in that film. And we already know there's a lot of key people dying, and some of our favorite Marvel characters will not be making it past this property. It's been announced by the director himself, James Gunn. So like, I don't think that's a spoiler. I don't think I need to tell anybody that. He hasn't announced who. He's just told us that some of our favorite characters are going to die in Volume 3. So I think that maybe
True.
what we're seeing is these castings starting the works of replacement within the Guardians. Because I don't think the Guardians will ever disappear. I just think what's going to happen is the Guardians moniker isn't just going to hold to this first individual group of people that we interact with, like Star-Lord, Gamora, Rocket, Groot, Drax, right? I think it's going to expand. Like they brought in Mantis in Volume 2. I think Volume 3 is going to bring in more, and it's going to become a larger group, but we're going to have some loss within that group.
Yep.
So it's certainly fun. I mean, Stallone, he even at his advanced age, he can still manage to work his way around the set and does a good job. So as long as he's able to continue to feel like he's adding value to the property, I'd love to see him continue in his role as a Ravager.
Yeah, that story is like, I don't really know. I don't really have that much to talk about it. I just wanted to like incorporate it in the podcast. I definitely think the news is fun,
It's fun,
but at this moment I don't really have any thoughts on it. We have talked our
Guardians 3
fair.
is
Yeah, go ahead.
still way out there.
Yeah,
So I
2 years.
mean, we're only going to talk more about it as it gets closer. But I think right now it's shaping up to be a great film.
Oh man, I can't wait. We have talked our fair share of controversy today in this podcast. We just need to talk a little bit more about a little controversy that was going on this month, this week, with Marvel Studios. I don't know the entire thing that's going on with Black Panther 2 right now, man. It seems that movie is really struggling with all sorts of stuff. Like the biggest thing going on right now is like that entire Shuri, like Letitia Wright situation of her not being able to, her taking time off to heal from her supposed injuries. We don't know if that's bogus or that's actually real.
She injured herself on set, so like I think it's the extent of the injuries
Mm-hmm.
that's in question, not if she was injured. She was injured. I don't think that's to question at all.
Yeah, but it's just like I don't really like talking about these things, but it just
Yeah.
seems that there's something bigger going on with her behind the scenes. Her not
Yeah,
wanting
there
to.
is.
We can talk. We are not going to talk about all the like stupid things going on with her right now, but it just seems that something is going on with Black Panther 2 that makes it very difficult for Ryan Coogler to like actually like finish his filming, work fluidly on this production. There's just like a lot going on with this series. It would just seem that like a lot. There are a couple of actors, it seems, that just aren't down with making the sequel, and that are just like, I don't know, like Letitia Wright, like 2 months after Chadwick Boseman died, put on Twitter like, cancel Black Panther 2. So it just seems like that some of the actors involved in it just aren't like really down with making the sequel. But like I don't
Yeah.
want to go in depth on the controversy. If you have some kind of thoughts on it, you can share them right now.
Yeah, quick thoughts here. I'm concerned this isn't the first instance that this is happening
Mm-hmm.
with Letitia in particular. I'm afraid that this is going to become a more popular stance with a lot of the actors and or actresses that we have come to love within the MCU and or other properties across all media companies, not just Marvel. But the larger I think issue that is at play here is I don't think, to your point, I don't think a lot of people want this movie. I don't think as much as Marvel wants to bring it, as much as Marvel wants to continue the story and tell, I think the loss of Chadwick
Mm-hmm.
is weighing heavy on
Yeah,
everyone
it's sad.
associated with this project right now, and I believe that that's a lot of the reasoning behind what we're facing, what we're hearing, what's being discussed around this project. I mean, not only like a couple weeks ago or a couple weeks prior to the whole Letitia Wright injury and then delay, did they formally announce that they had to scrap the script and restart and delay the film overall. I
Yep.
mean, when they pushed films in 2022 out and 23, Black Panther got one of the biggest pushes because of the restructuring that they had to do to the script and to the story being told. So I believe, I truly believe that there's a large amount of people associated with this project that are really finding it difficult to tell the story appropriately to do justice to Chadwick. And as much as it hurts to say that, and how much I loved the first movie, I don't know if another Black Panther property at this moment is a right move for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the right choice. And I hope it comes out. I want it to. Believe me, I want this property, but I want it to be done right because you don't want to have a sequel to the film that was already produced disappoint because of the already high expectation on the film due to uh, the situation with Chadwick and how everything
Yeah,
took place
it's
and his passing and stuff. It's just very sensitive, very tough. I can only feel for all those people that got the chance to work with him and now have to be asked to come back to Black Panther 2 and try to make this work, and the emotions and things they must be feeling and going through have to be immense. So I'm not even going to try to sit here and say I can relate or I've experienced them. I
true.
can just say that I hope they're able to get through them. I hope that we're able to get this property, get it moving in the right direction, get filming back on track, and everything going, and get the story kind of hammered out. Because I think that's right now, to me, the larger concern is that they're having to kind of scrap script and go back
Yep.
through. Right, the Letitia thing can be an issue as long as it needs to be, because if the script isn't ready, then it doesn't matter if she's ready or not, or anybody else is ready or not. The script has to be ready for them to start. So
I
that's
mean,
where my concern lies and where I think we should be focused on.
I have all the faith in the world in Ryan Coogler. I think he's amazing
Hmm.
director.
Oh yeah.
This movie is bringing in my favorite character from Marvel Comics, Namor the Submariner. There are a lot of like things that we have been coming out of that movie that definitely feels like they are making something great out of it, but we can't just not ignore that there are things going on with that movie right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very real with you and say that I could potentially see them canceling this film, at least for in its current slot. And I could see some of the plot lines that they were going to bring in through that film potentially hitting the Okoye series that we know is in the works.
Yeah, I don't know, but this.
I say that only because of who Okoye is,
Mm-hmm.
what she represents, and she's on board, right? She's not
Yeah,
in
true.
struggles with like some of these other actors and actresses are. But I think she's on board for what they're trying to do, and I think that if they're going to do that and they're going to build that series, and they feel strongly enough that they can't bring the film, then I think that those plot the key plot points from the film would make it into something. And I would prefer to see them stay in that Wakanda based Okoye series as opposed to trying to force Namor into something else or some of these other key plot points that they want to bring in through this film into another property. So it's tough to find that crossover if they do have to drop the film, I'm sure. But I don't see them dropping the film. I hope they figure it out. But if they have to, I could see them keeping these key pieces for us and just delivering them differently.
I just don't see a way that they would like that they are able to cancel it. It's far into production. They filmed for like nearly like 5 months right now. I think they
You
really
also,
want to bring in Namor right now. So yeah, go ahead.
all right. So I love your thought process because logic is there with you, right? But they're also doing Doctor Strange reshoots right now, as we speak, for a film that comes out in May.
That's true.
So let's not talk about scheduling and timing and their ability to do stuff, because I think that if they need to, they will. So like I said, I think the larger problem right now is the script. I think them having something that Feige approves of and is okay with and wants to move forward with is the key. And if they can't do that, I do not see Feige hesitating to drop the film. Yes, we are going to hate this. Yes, no one is going to like it. However, the reality of the situation is if he doesn't feel that what they have already filmed, what they have left to film, and or the story that's put in front of them is good enough to hold up on its own as Black Panther 2, then I think he should scrap the film and should just tell us that he doesn't think this can be done right now and that the character needs to be reintroduced. Because if that is how everyone feels, that is what a lot of the internet said when Chad passed and when all this other stuff happened. I believe that the right thing to do, if we're all at this point, is to just say no. I'd rather not have a subpar sequel to get one character introduced into the MCU when that character, Namor, could be introduced in another property. I don't want one movie to bring one character in to make it impactful. I don't care enough about it. I want Chadwick Boseman to be represented as Black Panther appropriately in any future Black Panther property within the MCU to represent that the same way. All of us do. All of us are hoping for that in this next movie. But I believe there's enough respect and understanding within the industry that if we can't get there, I don't see Coogler pushing that button. I think he respected Chad enough to know, right? And everyone falls on a different side. I'm just saying, my opinion, entirely. Sorry, I ranted there. I just it's
No.
one of those things where
You have a fair point.
I
in
don't
that.
think I don't think that everybody thinks that just because we hear this thing, it's announced from Marvel that it's set in stone. I think there's more flexibility in the schedule than we realize, and we're seeing that with some of the movements and reshoots and adjustments that are happening as we get closer to some of these other properties.
I mean,
So
I think what's going on with the reshoots for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness are more to do with like that being such a crossover thing. Many like cameos in that movie, multiverse. I think it's with that movie. I think it's basically all has to do with like scheduling conflicts with like the Pandy last year. I don't know, man. Like, I definitely get what you're saying, but like, how can you cancel a movie that is well into production, that has filmed for nearly half a year right now, that you want to bring in like one of the new big villains, anti-heroes? I mean, I don't know. We'll have to, if that happens.
if anyone's gonna do it, Disney's gonna do it because Disney has the ability to put that budget aside. I should say
True.
Marvel has the ability to put that budget aside and say, okay, you get this property right, we'll continue to release stuff around you in the interim that will support the story that you're going to try to tell. But I want you to get your story right first before you try to tell it.
True. Maybe the best thing for that movie right now is maybe pushing it back to 2023 to give it just a little bit more time.
Well, it was already 2023.
No,
it was already.
It's still 2022. It's still.
I thought it was May.
No,
of
November.
2023.
November. That's the Marvels. But there's still a chance that they can switch those two. You know, there's still a chance that they can switch those two movies because I think those movies are basically like the same way into production. They went around the same time into production. I think they are S4. They just like moved the slate to like work with like giving Doctor Strange a little bit more time to finish. But like if canceling this movie would break my heart just because like I'm hyped for this movie. I want Namor as soon as possible. I think like pushing it back would be better. Give it a little bit more time.
I guess yeah. When I say cancel, that's what I'm more referring to. Is
okay, pushing back. Yeah. Oh, I thought you mean like canceling the entire thing.
Like it's not coming in the slot we have it. It's moving out of the slot we have it in.
Yeah,
Something
right.
else is going to take its spot, and then it's not going to get a release date. It's basically what happened to Patty Jenkins' Star
Rogue
Wars
Squadron,
film,
yeah.
Rogue Squadron, where it was pushed due to pandemic, and then it got pushed one last time, and then they just made an announcement that they're going to be replacing that film's theatrical release spot with 2 other films, and that hers is now indefinitely delayed and doesn't have a release date. Like that is what I can see happening. And now the rumor with that whole property is that it's just being canceled altogether. So that's where I got whole like cancel it, because like the moment that you move it and don't give it another date, people are gonna be like, oh, it's gone, it's off the slate. But I don't think it is, and I don't think Marvel works that way. But again, I'd rather have them push it to 24 if they have
Yeah,
to
true.
make it work, then try to play this game within 22, 23, and have us just get a property that doesn't align.
Actually, here's the thing. Here, I can give like a little bit more on that. If they would actually do that, push that film to 2024, you could actually build on Namor. You can like give him a cameo in another series. You can put him into a post-credit scene. But yeah, we
I
will
agree.
have to wait and see. See how far we are. 1 hour and 10 minutes. Are you good to go for 20 more minutes or something?
Yeah.
All right. There are two big like things that I want to talk about yet. Um, what are we going to start with? Henry Cavill, Captain Britain, or are we going to talk about the Scott Derrickson thing? What do you want to talk first?
Start with Henry Cavill because I just have very few words with that.
All right, cool.
Do it, do it now, and lock him in forever. The dude said he wants to play this role. He knows that his time as Superman is pretty much past, or there's limited time left for him to play that character, and it's the fact that he wants to play the role. It's not that we're like, oh, he'd be a perfect cast for it.
Yep,
He's literally the one saying that he wants to be this character. Give him the character.
they have to.
He's he's proven enough. He's played in the genre. He knows the character well. He's aware of how to portray a character similar to Captain Britain. And I think he would do a fantastic job. The
I
cooler
think you.
part about this to me is that it allows us to get a Captain Britain and a Captain Carter potentially in live action
True.
and get a Henry Cavill, Haley Atwell
Oh,
combo.
that would be
Would
awesome.
love it.
Man,
So
Landon, I
I'm
think
all
you.
for it.
I think you said it perfectly. I don't think I could have said it better. Um, yeah, he's just
I,
like he's.
I
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. No, I say I have a very general statement about kind of how this took place overall, but I'll let you finish your thought.
All right, yeah. So I just wanted to say like I don't think there's any other actor who could portray Captain Britain better, who is a better fit for that character. And just like yeah, like DC just completely wasted Superman. They have set their plans on other things. They want to bring other. They want to bring in other Superman. They are not wanting to go forward with his Man of Steel movie, the second, like the sequel. J.J. Abrams is working on another thing. Uh, Michael B. Jordan is working on another thing with Superman, but not like the Henry Cavill version. So just go to Marvel. DC screwed you. Like, go to Marvel, redeem yourself in the superhero genre. Play this amazing character called Brian Braddock.
Mm-hmm.
And just become like beloved by the Marvel fans. Because like here's the difference between DC and Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios, when they cast someone, they treat them well. Most of the time. I'm not talking about Edward Norton, that's something a little bit controversial. But DC is just like the Marvel, like they are good for their actors, and like that's like the difference with Warner Brothers and DC. Just go to like Marvel. You will be more happy than you are playing Superman right now. So, yeah, what do you wanted to say, Landon?
We need more actors and actresses to do this. I firmly believe that when it comes to casting for a film, a superhero film, or things along those lines, there is a level of A-listers that are considered, right? A level of well-known actors and actresses that are considered for roles. We need more actors and actresses to share their passion, share what they love and who they love, and these stories that they've heard, or these characters that they have been portrayed in the past, and share who they want to be and who they want to portray. Because I think that is how you find a successful actor and actress for a role,
Yep.
for a specific role like this, for kind of an off the beaten path type role. Don't give it to someone just to give them a cameo. Don't give it to somebody just to bring the character in and just have a face, right? Bring somebody who actually wants to portray the character and do that character justice in to play that character. And I'm not saying that, we can do this for every instance or every situation, right? But like a great example is the Rahul Cooley situation with Ezra Bridger in Star Wars. This dude like did a freaking social media campaign to play this character. Now, unfortunately, he didn't get the role, but all I can tell you is I was rooting for this man
Oh
to
yeah,
get
me
the
too.
role the entire time because the dude loves the character. He wants to be the person to portray the character. He wants to be the one to actually emulate the character and show the character development and be the person to bring that to live action from an animated.
Hey, I can give you another one. John Krasinski wants to play Reed Richards.
Exactly.
Just do it.
So like, just do it. These guys, these not just guys, but actors and actresses have passion for these characters. They have passion for certain roles. Please, if you are famous or an actor and actress in any capacity and you're listening to me right now, and you have a role that you absolutely want, go like post all over social media about it. Go be like, I want to play this character. Because more often than not, we see these campaigns become successful because the fans get behind that actor or actress because they're putting themselves out there saying, this is a dream job for me. This is a dream role for me. And it's not always about the money. It's about the ability to portray a character that you yourself can connect with and you yourself have an emotional connection with. So I love this. Do more of this, please. More people do this. Again, it's not going to work always. It's not always going to be perfect. And there's going to be situations where someone's like, I want to play this character. And you like, that just doesn't work. And that's okay. But share your passion, share the love, share who you want to be and who you want to portray. Because I think that in these instances, more often than not, the people that are the ones that are silent are the ones that I would actually get the role and probably be better in the role than other people who are going to be cast or actually considered for it. So I know there's a lot of hate around Will Poulter for Adam Warlock and how the dude just doesn't work and it's not going to play and all this other stuff. I can tell you one thing. Listen to him talk about this role in an interview, and you know that he loves the character. You know that he has passion to play this character and portray the character correctly. So I have no doubt in his ability to play Adam Warlock. I'm looking forward to him as Adam Warlock.
I really don't get why people wouldn't like him. Have you seen that guy?
Exactly. But it's not about him in the way he looks always, because VFX exists, right? So we have to think about it as how much passion does he have to portray the character correctly or as accurately as he can to the audience. And I think that is what is the key, because passion is what really comes through in film. Passion is what comes through in a lot of what we do in our lives. And it's very easy to tell when someone's passionate about something because they'll talk your ear off about it. So share with us, share with the world, actor and actresses, please just tell us who you want to be. Let the studios handle it from there. And it's not always going to work out, but if you are a strong enough willed individual, you are probably going to know better and you're going to portray that character better than someone who they were just like, cool, I need a Daredevil, or cool, I need a Luke Cage, or cool, I need a Jessica Jones, right? Like, no, I want someone who actually wants to play that role. I want someone who really cares about Iron Fist to play Iron Fist. Right? I want someone who truly cares about the backstory of Luke Cage to play Luke Cage, right? And I'm not saying that we didn't have good versions in the past. I'm just pointing out, as we recast and go through these things, we have to consider that, because the nerdy world is larger than what we're aware of. There's fans of things all over the place, and people that you don't expect to be comic book nerds are huge comic book nerds. True. So let those people, those individuals share with you their passion so that you can make the best project possible. Because something that, somebody just doesn't have their heart in it. Sorry, Iron Fist, that Netflix show, clearly Finn Jones didn't have his heart in that show. Didn't even bother to bulk up for it. So clearly it flopped. And you can see how passion plays directly into the ability to portray a character successfully from an audience viewpoint.
All right, Landon. If you're okay with it, we are going to push the Scott Derrickson topic to next week, so we can just end off the podcast with Spiderman No Way Home. That was the talk of the day. We talked about this last week, and you gave a an opinion about it. That it would be great to actually not bring out a second trailer because there's that much hype for the movie already. I think the way they are doing it right now is even smarter. They are doing this event where they are going to premiere this trailer for the very first time, and this trailer, from what I've heard, is probably not even going to come out on the internet afterwards. There's a chance that you will have to go to the theater, watch Ghostbusters Afterlife to actually see that trailer. So here's the thing. A lot of people who weren't interested in Ghostbusters at all are not going to go to the theater, watching that movie.
Not just that film, though. I believe it'll be played before all films the weekend, or the weekend that Ghostbusters goes live. Not
Yeah, true.
just the Ghostbusters film. So you just have to go to the movies next weekend. You don't have to go see Ghostbusters. So you can go see the Bond film if it's out. Go see Eternals again. There's a couple other small films. Licorice Pizza came out. I heard really good things about that
Last
one.
Night in
But no,
Soho, perfect
yeah,
movie.
I'll say the Last Night in Soho. That's another good one that's out still. Yeah, I mean, so it's you don't have to go see Ghostbusters, but I believe the caveat to that is that the trailer is first going to premiere it's first going to exist at the Ghostbusters Afterlife premiere. So the first time anyone is going to see it is at the premiere of that
Yep.
movie. And then from there, anytime you go to the theater, it will be played prior to that film or whatever film you're going to see. Now, for me, I'm going to see freaking Ghostbusters Afterlife because Ghostbusters rule, man. I mean, it's like one of the best 80s movies that I still watch. So, but yeah, I mean, you're right, Stormy. The hype is unreal right now. The way that they're creating hype around this movie is genius. They're doing it right. I am concerned about some of the expectations the fan base is starting to place on this film. I know we all want to see certain things happen. We all want to see certain characters and certain other Spider-Men appear. I don't want a trailer to ruin that surprise for me. So if I hear that the trailer like has this shit in it, I'm probably gonna show up late to the Ghostbusters film and make sure I don't catch it. Because as weird as that sounds, I don't want the film spoiled for me like that. Um, so it's that love-hate relationship with wanting it and wanting to know and see it and experience it, and then also wanting to have that element of surprise. So it's certainly going to be something it's on my radar for this week. I know probably about Wednesday night or Thursday during the day, I'll be buying my Ghostbusters ticket for next weekend to go check out the new Ghostbusters film because I would highly recommend it to everybody. It's got freaking great reviews from those who have seen
Yep.
it. And I heard it's like the perfect mashup of what you want a rebooted film like this to be. So certainly not what I would expect when I first thought about the film, but I'm excited. I'm ready to go see
Here's the
it. And
thing.
if the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer happens to be in front of it, you know,
I have never
icing on the
been.
cake.
I have never been a Ghostbusters fan. I like watched the first movie and then I never watched anything that came afterwards. Like that, I didn't even watch that 2016 version. Not that it was necessary because it was so bad. But yeah, if this is true, that the trailer is showing in front of this, I'm definitely going to watch it. So, man,
Well, okay, again,
go ahead.
at the premiere. So again, that's a distinction that I'm trying to understand because I've heard it both ways from people. I've heard that it will only show in front of the Ghostbusters film next weekend, but then I also heard other people say, or other sources say that it's going to first show in front of the Ghostbusters film at the premiere, which I believe is Wednesday
Yep.
evening in the US, and then will show in front of every film played that weekend. So it'll become a part of the trailer reel
Really,
once it's first
I didn't know
shown
that.
at the Ghostbusters premiere on Wednesday. So Ghostbusters premiere, No Way Home trailer is made available to those people that get to see it at the premiere. And anyone else that goes to see either Ghostbusters or any other film should see, if that trailer drops then, that trailer in front of the film that they see. That is my understanding of the news. Again, I've heard it both ways. I want the one specific one where it opens it up to all films to be true, but I mean, I'm going to see Ghostbusters anyway, so I'll see it regardless. Essentially, it's just a matter of,
Yep.
do I get to see it when I'm watching Ghostbusters, or do I have to go, or can I go see like Last Night in Soho or Licorice Pizza and I can also see it?
All right. With that, we have come to the end of the podcast today. Great conversation again, Landon. Appreciated you
Yeah,
coming
man,
on
sorry
again.
I blew up on you.
Sorry?
Said sorry I blew up on you.
About what?
Oh, Echo.
Oh, yeah, no, but like I'm going to blow up on you when you actually like that film, that character. So prepare yourself for that.
Oh,
No,
I'm
guys.
ready.
Guys watching right now, go subscribe to Landon's Twitch channel, aka Boulder Doobies at Boulder Doobies .twitch it is, isn't it?
Twitch.com
Yep.
or twitch.tv/Boulder Doobies. Spelled Boulder
Sure,
like
that
the city,
would.
doobie like the doobie you smoke.
Coolest guy I know in this hemisphere. He makes very good, like, he makes very fun streams on there. He plays Jackbox, party packs. Very fun guy. You know, like the way he can talk about things in such depth that he's just like the perfect guy to come onto this podcast. So definitely appreciate you. Subscribe to this channel. We want to make more content for this channel in the future. I mean, me personally, Landon is like my co-host for the podcast. He has his own things to do in his life. But definitely subscribe to the channel, like this podcast, share it with your friends and your family, and we will see you in the next podcast review, trailer reaction.
Tell us in the section below
True.
what you want us to talk about. If there's a topic we didn't cover, something we missed from Marvel or DC or Star Wars, let us know. We'll try to incorporate it in the next video. Certainly bring the topics to us if you have them. If there's something we're missing, please let us know. We want this to be driven by you, the fans, just as much as it is by us, those creating it.
Also, like Landon started talking about it, if you have a question for us, we can definitely answer it next podcast. If you follow the Superverse on Twitter, you can send me a DM through there with a question that you have, a topic that you want us to talk about. So definitely do that. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I hope you have an awesome week. And I'll see you in the next podcast. Have a great day, guys.
Bye for now.